I'm Bob at I Like to Make Stuff. Today we're going to make an emergency shelter with the Navy. Today's video is sponsored by the Navy, and it's part of Sailor Versus, the series where other creators and I see if we have what it takes to be in the Navy. I've been challenged by CB, Steelworker Second Class Priester, to see if I can build a portable shelter. I don't typically do challenges, but this is a really cool opportunity because the CBs are a group of construction specialists that include builders, electricians, plumbers, and welders, and they work together as a team to build awesome structures in crazy situations. Let's hop on a call with SW2 Priester. SW2 Priester, it's good to see you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I would love to hear about what your days are like as a CB.
So as CB, we do a lot of humanitarian and expeditionary construction. So we'll go to different countries. We'll help redo their schools, refurbish their hospitals, and houses for the people that really need it.
Gotcha. Is there a time that stands out as like something really crazy where you had to set up and do your work in terrible conditions?
Yeah, Bob. Actually, one time when we were in the Philippines, I had to weld on a steel beam, and it actually started raining. So what me and my team did, we just built something relatively quickly. I was able to get underneath and complete the job and get out.
Gotcha. Okay, so in a shelter like that, what are the most important things?
You want to make sure that it's portable, especially if it's just yourself, and something that's relatively quick to set up and tear down.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've got an idea, I think, for a shelter, and it focuses on being able to set it up by yourself and be really lightweight, so one person can easily move it into place. Does that sound good?
Exactly. That sounds great, Bob. Pretty excited to see if you could do it.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna jump in, get to work, and we'll check in just a little bit, and I'll show you what I got. Based on the info I got from SW2 Priester, I'm going to build a shelter that is lightweight and portable, fits one person, can be easily set up by one person, is rain resistant, and is scalable for a large crew of sailors. For this project, I want to use some corrugated plastic sheeting, and this is the same white paneling that I used on my paint booth, if you've seen that video. This stuff is great because it's really lightweight, it has a ribbing on the inside of it, so it has a little bit of structure to it, and it's plastic, so it'll keep you dry. I came up with an idea and made a little mock-up to make sure that it would work. So the idea is that it's all out of flat materials, so it will lay down really flat, but then it will unfold, and the sides will expand. And then inside, there's a little rib that will come down to give it structure. So once that's in place, it will stand up. Then we've also got a door that will fold down from the inside or maybe from the outside. The doors can open and close. That's how you can get in and out, and that will keep the rain out. One of the cool things about this material is that because there are two walls, you can cut through just one of those walls along the line, and then the other wall will act as a hinge. So for the side panels, we're only going to cut halfway through, and that will allow these pieces to bend on the inside, keeping this whole wall waterproof, and we can even add some waterproof tape to the outside just to be sure. This shelter is going to be about 30 inches wide, 30 inches tall, and 7 feet long, so it should be plenty big to hold an adult. What we're going to do here is measure over 30 inches from the side and then find the cell where that mark lands. Cut down the center of that cell from end to end. We want to make sure that we're cutting down the middle of one of these corrugations, not in one of the walls. The Navy uses gold and navy blue as their color scheme, so we're going to use that gold and we're going to cover the outsides of the two side panels. I want to make sure I do that and let it dry before I start assembling the whole thing. For the hinges, we're going to be using waterproof tape. This is 4 inches wide, so there'll be plenty of purchase on both of the pieces, and we're going to put this hinge on the inside. By putting it on the inside of a hinge, then you don't have to worry about the thickness of the two pieces of material overlapping when it closes up. We'll put this in place to get it to fold, and once we get the whole thing into shape, then we'll go back and line the outside of all of these corners with some other tape just to make sure that water doesn't seep down in it. If you remember, about a year ago, we made a greenhouse, and for the outside of that greenhouse, we used the same clear corrugated plastic. This stuff is basically identical to the white, except it's a little bit more brittle, and the reason we're using this is so that you can have some more light coming in the two ends of the shelter, so you can see in and you can see out. And since we're going to use that for the two ends, we'll go ahead and use the same material for that spine in the center. I got 3 of these pieces cut down, one for the front, the back, and the middle, and the idea here is that this center piece is going to have kind of an archway cut in it, so it will go over you when you're inside. Then we'll get it hinged on the top, so once you get the whole thing set up, this top section will fold down around you and give the entire thing structure. I've got some good progress, but I think it's time to check in with the CBs and see if I can get some feedback from SW2 Priester. Hey, I wanted to give you a little update as to where I am. So I've got the structure kind of built, the outside of it, and now I'm at a point where I'm building the inner rib that comes down to actually hold it in place. So that's what I'm currently working on.
It looks great, Bob. My only question is, will we be able to carry it with only one person? Or do you need like 2 bodies to carry it?
Everybody should be able to handle this on their own. So the whole idea here is that you have this really lightweight thing that one person can carry, one person can set it up. So you could bring in maybe a stack of 50 of these on a pallet, and everybody could come get their shelter, set it up on their own, and hop inside.
Okay, Bob, and I see you're a pretty smart guy, so I already know it should be water resistant, correct?
Yeah, it's all plastic, it's all waterproof tape, and the whole idea is it being a temporary shelter, but it should be waterproof.
Gotcha, Bob. Well, it looks great. I can't wait to see the final product.
Thanks. I'm gonna hop back to work, and I'll check in a little bit. I've got the hinges on for these 4 pieces. This is either the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna treat this as the top. Go ahead and put in that center divider and put in the hinge for that before we go ahead and wrap the whole thing together. I got this piece in here and I used tape on both sides of it so it actually has a hinge and no exposed sticky edge. This is not the waterproof tape, it's just regular duct tape. And I was a little bit worried that the thickness of this piece would actually get in the way of the sides, but these actually fold down just fine right on top of it, luckily. So next up, I need to attach this edge to the bottom. Now that I've got that taped on the inside, which was incredibly awkward to do, by the way, I've got the door piece pushed in here, and I'm gonna tape it on, but I wanted to make sure to point out that I'm actually putting it inside this opening, not on the front. It's inside because the top edge here is supporting this top, and the sides are actually forcing the sides of the shelter all the way out to keep it into the shape. This thing is good to go, it's standing up on its own, but I want to make sure that it stays that way. In the interest of keeping the materials cheap and easy on this, I'm actually going to use some Velcro on some tape tabs. I'm going to put that Velcro on the ends of both the rib and the doors, and that'll give you something to grab to pull them down, but also having some Velcro on them and some Velcro on the inside of the box will help you hold them in place. So you can get inside, pull the doors down, and latch them in place with the Velcro. Now that I've got all those tabs and Velcro pieces in place, this thing's pretty much done. I wanted to show you what it looks like when it's folded down because it is very thin and it's really lightweight. But with all of these pieces loose, it would be kind of hard to carry at this point and keep it all together. So another simple thing that we can do here just to kind of lock it all into a single unit is to add some straps around both sides of these. Those straps will hold the doors down, but also give you a way to carry it. And obviously you can use anything you want for those straps, but I'm going to use something that would be useful in an emergency situation in other ways as well. This is Velcro that has the hook and the loop on the 2 different sides, so it kind of sticks to itself. There's no adhesive, and you can just unroll it, wrap it around, and then stick it back together when you're done. And once you've got your shelter set up, you can use those straps for anything else. All right, it's done. It's time to jump on a call with SW2 Priester, give him a demo. SW2 Priester, I've got this thing finished up.
Nice work there, Bob. Can you tell me how it works?
So the challenge was to make something that was portable, it could give you shelter, and it was easy to set up, and this totally does that. These things are super lightweight, and they're made of inexpensive materials, but they're still waterproof. All the plastic is waterproof, all of the hinges are made out of waterproof tape, and since they're lightweight and can fold flat, you can actually stack them up. So essentially, you could house a whole bunch of people with an entire stack of these shelters.
Wow, Bob, that was awesome. That was some good engineering, some good thinking. That's the type of thinking that us CBs, we try to bring to the table.
Well, thanks. I think that there's something useful in there, and hopefully it can inspire the work that you guys do all the time, which is really awesome, by the way. Thanks again for the challenge. It was really great working with you.
Pleasure was mine, Bob. Thank you.
There's obviously a lot of room for improvement, as it's just a prototype, but I already have several ideas how to make this thing better, and it would work great in an emergency situation. Huge thanks to the Navy for this partnership, and if you want to learn more about the careers in the Navy, hit the link down in the description. And be sure to watch more in the Sailor Versus series, where I go head-to-head against a team of CBs in a building challenge you won't want to miss. That's lightweight, Hang on. There's something on the lens.
Quit spitting on it.
Check in with the naval?